Thank you for responding to the last prompt and thinking critically about how racism or bias might impact our math stories and or our identities. We have all been impacted by racism and or bias in some ways. And because racism is so pervasive, there are some who believe that we are unaware of our racist and or biased actions and how it can show up in our role and in our work. One quote which names this comes from Dismantling Racism 2016, and it says, "We live in a toxic culture that affects us all. One dynamic of the culture is that we are discouraged from seeing it. One of our tasks is to learn to see our culture and how it teaches us to make normal that which is not and should never be normal." And so some things that are biased and or racist that we have normalized in the mathematics classroom include limited access to high quality and rigorous content. And we know that um, a disproportionate number of Black and Brown students experience this, having a greater focus on getting the right answer, right? And not focusing on understanding and deepening our understanding of concept and reasoning. Focused on controlling students, the classroom. That's valued over students' agency over their own learning. Seeing mistakes only as failures rather than opportunities for learning. Tracking our students, providing little representation of our students in curricular or little representation in our advanced and honors courses. And a 2017 study from the work of Churn tells us that the majority of mathematics teachers believe that their courses are just too difficult for our Black and Brown students. The majority. So that idea has been normalized. So while everyone has some bias, this does not mean to say that we're all racist, right? What this does lift is that we live and work in racist societies and or systems and organizations, and it's our job to examine our practices. And so there are many things that we can do to create more equitable and anti-racist mathematics experiences. And so the first thing that we are asked to do as anti-racist math educators is to deconstruct the ways that we have been taught math to learn and teach math differently. And so this idea and the ideas that I'm going to share are brought to us by a pathway to equitable math instruction, dismantling racism and mathematics instruction. And so some of the ideas that are lifted within this resource, and then in addition to these ideas, there are examples that are given to support each one, include soliciting students' ways of thinking and processing, right? And that was our focus last year around increasing mathematical discourse. That's also connected to the second one that's listed here, providing opportunities for students to give feedback to teachers about the classroom and instruction. Treat mathematics as a language, and this is specifically thinking about our ESL students. Treat mathematics as a language that everyone is learning while authentically centering students' home languages, right? Framing mathematics learning within the context of the students' lives and linking those contexts to the standards. So there are many ideas that you can consider. There are examples and recommendations to support each of these ideas and many others found in this resource, and we are linking this resource to your agenda. So we ask that you take a look at these ideas, explore them, to see what you think about them and the recommendations that are listed with them. And so before we move on, we want you to reflect on the ideas that were just shared and consider what has been normalized in mathematics learning that may be unproductive, biased, or racist. This is your opinion. What equitable or anti-racist practice might you consider to address that practice? Please respond in your agenda.